So they call this an airdrop, I guess. I named this many years ago as the Bart Simpson head formation. And I don't usually see it too often. That's when a market goes straight up, chops around near the top for a while, then goes straight down. The price action, which is now currently from the December lows, which was around 10,000, is up over 6 times, from 10,000 up to 64,000. Of course, it broke down from 1,316,000 area. That's about a 95% reduction in price. I am making a buy order for this. It's kind of scary, actually. It is. Normally, what I would do is I would bet 1 unit when I enter a position. And then if I buy any more, the next buy would be probably about 1/3 the Bitcoin cost as the original buy. Not in this case. I'm going to bet about 3/5 of a unit on this. So I'm going to basically have about 60% of what I normally enter in a position. I have a buy order in at 60, which is very close from now. And I'll just keep buying it on decent sections lower. Understanding the risk that I have, because risk-reward management, I believe, is always job number 1. And well, obviously, I like to buy when it's really low, and you got the opportunity to get some decent gains after the shakeout for this happens. The price action is now at the former resistance, and which it was back in July. And we've seen this happen before, where the price action, well, we'll even say from, well, even here, January of 2017, you go from 36K up to 150,000. So that's about a 5x move, and you go right back to where you came from. But on the March lows last year of a year ago, it had a spectacular move, going from 40,000 up to 572,000, about a 12 or 13x move. Now, this was different because it literally went straight up for a monstrous move under 10,000 up to under 2 million. That's about a 200x gain, rather. That is mind-boggling. And the ones whom are able to get in any time before this, even if you entered in at like 35,000 back in October, and then you just held the loss, and then you watched the thing go way up, worked out to great profits. I guess from what I was told, people were accumulating it because of a fork. I guess they called it an airdrop. I sure call that an airdrop. But how profitable was it to accumulate these coins, especially for the ones who were buying as it was breaking past these higher numbers, to hold, wait, get these coins, and then I don't know what the coins you get are going to be worth, but they're obviously not too good right now, and it's just an interesting move how I see this this type of volatility. So the way I look at it, again, buy 60,000, maybe consider buying probably the same amount of Bitcoin that I bought for this one. I would buy again, which is exactly the reason why I'm buying like 3/5 of a unit, because I don't know how confident I'm going to be within the situation. It's pure speculation, but the mathematics of how these things go way up and way down, that really isn't speculation. Also, what is not speculation as well, say back in here, if you put a sell order in for, say, 190,000 and the price goes to like over 200,000, your sell order will definitely fill, guaranteed. So those are the things I look at that towards. And Well, even Litecoin Cash, I haven't looked at that in a few days, but it's been 2 weeks now since the fork, and like nothing is happening. I mean, you can trade it on Yobit and another exchange for almost nothing. And I'll take a look here, see what the $3.17 according to Coin Market Cap, which is basically $32 per Litecoin, which is very reasonable because that's about a 15% dividend if you sell it now. Well, that's if you can. Let's take a look at these markets. Okay, we got $4 on Yobit. Trade Satoshi has got 77 cents, which is the equivalency of about $7 and change per Litecoin, or now that of about a 3% dividend. Not as attractive anymore. And then the South Exchange has got it as well. See, I'm not looking to sell for a 3% gain. No way, no how. Not even maybe. And this price is not going to stay this way if you can actually deposit them into Yobit. I know without even checking that it's not even close that you can. Because how fast would people be going on there to sell it all off? It would just be a madhouse. And I guess the only way these things have been traded from the start is people who had held Litecoin on the fork got their Litecoin cashed, and that's the only supply that have been on the market, although I always question what really is going on with the case. Moving on to the Litecoin, the way I thought about it from the start was I didn't expect it to be worth much. I thought it would have done great if it could have got to that 3% number. Originally, I was thinking, well, I thought it would have started there and fell from that point, but the way I looked at it from the beginning, which was basically 2 weeks ago, was that I felt that, well, if prices can get anywhere up here, and I think they will on Litecoin, say 3,000, that would it be possible that Litecoin Cash could be worth like 20 bucks, 30 bucks? I mean, that still would be a low percentage, but now volume-wise, if you got a several amount of them, say you had, well, for my case, over 300 of them. If I had, say, $20 a coin on 300, that would be like 6,000. Then you times it by 10, that'd be 60,000. It would still be a low percentage to this, which would be great for the Litecoin gains if they come. But that's what I thought would happen. Is the only way I'm going to get into it is when Litecoin Cash goes way up, and if Litecoin goes up way up rather, then Litecoin Cash may do pretty good thereafter, because I didn't feel it was going to work from the outset, and I guess that is correct. Let's move on to a few altcoins. It says there's not really much moving, at least to the upside right now. Monetary Unit's doing pretty good. It's up about 15% for the day, but the 18 average went sideways, and I like 3 days of how it rode the 18 average of highs as it did. And now with decent volume, it's had a nice move higher. We've seen many times with these codes how they can have spectacular up and down moves as far as volatility when I use the word spectacular. And you also have a lot of sell order opportunities where we see like on, and many codes have this. December the 6th, it goes up to 35, and then the next day it's down to 1,300. There is so much profitability. And then over a period of a few days, December 11th low of 1,067. And then the December 26th high 15 days later in at 4,300, 4 times higher. Price right now is worse than 50% off at 1786. And then even from this point here, it's up almost 50% from this low. So a lot of great volatility that is available. JSNP4 recently did an interview with the Cloak Coin team. Its technical analysis is pretty strong, actually. I do have this, and what I have to do now as a trader is figure out, okay, where is this going to? Do I like the chances that resistance will come at this previous high? The blind answer is no. As the price action with this last move that got up to the 2 handle isn't that much far behind. And after it had an explosive move from, well, basically doubling in one candle, and why can't it do it again, especially with all this information that I have to be very careful here with how I place my next sell order. So what I need to do is shorten this out. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. I need to look at this on a shorter term time frame. And I'll use, say, the 2-hour chart. 1 hour would probably work too. So here I see this move come up to a high of 199.4 and a low at 109. I got a low here at 1. Yeah, we'll do 109 as the low. And the upside target I got is at the 28.96 handle. So when I look at this in the daily chart, where would that present itself at? Basically 30 even, which coincides with resistance from September as well as here. So yeah, I'm not going to sell any of it. My next keyword, next sell order that I'm going to place will be south of this 30 handle. And I say that when I know moves like what occurred in December, multiple days up, huge gains occurs, I don't want to sell like in these higher areas and be like, oh, I'm done. I sold at 85, or I sold everything at this previous resistance, say on December 18th, and the best I could have ever done was get back at even. No, I would rather sell some there, maybe never get that back, and then sell some up here, which I would have got back, and then sell some up here, which again you get back. But it's a scary situation selling at a previous level of resistance. In this case, I wouldn't, and right now, back in here I would have. And I probably did, actually, with when I probably owned it and did sell it. But I would have sold it against Litecoin, most likely, if it was available on Cryptopia then. I can't remember if it was or not, but either way, that would have been a most huge time to sell, because when you can come up to a previous level of resistance, you haven't been anywhere near it in a while, and you have huge momentum higher, that's a sell target for me. That's not the case in here, because it already did make this move up to the 20 handle. LMC is very, very volatile. A lot of great up and down moves, and I don't even... This is just wild on this day, on May the 2nd. But when you have a situation like this is just why I like to have sell orders in place where, yeah, maybe a little bit here at around 1,200. Maybe a small amount at around 2,000. And then 6,000. 5,500 just in case. Because if I ever get a situation where someone buys it up to that insane level, then it's probably going to come back instantly like it did there. And I see it comes back down to, like, say, well, say it's trading at like 1,800 when it happens, and it comes back down to 2. Moving on next to Aurora, which was one of the ones I mentioned about ready to pop soon, possibly. Very interesting chart setup here. How big is this current 20 handle level? It was at the time leaving the point in August. It supported that area here, but it resisted again in September. It resisted again in December. Notice the situation going from 7,000 to 20. So if you had 100 of these things, we'll say that you had a sell order for up here. And even if you sold it, say, at 15 and it comes back to, say, well, just half the price. Well, however many you had, you could get twice as much back without any change in your Bitcoin price. Or you could buy what you had back and have a good amount of Bitcoin. Or you could buy 50% more and have a bit of Bitcoin profit, bit of extra Aurora coin. But again, this resistance comes out big again, decent sell-off. But after this one in here, I mean, what more can I say other than one day of resistance on January 30th, and it pulls back to the 18 lows. It then goes to there on the 2nd of February. It has 2 days where it hits the current price action point. And then it falls back to the 18 average of highs. And then on February the 6th, it has a significant break above it, but just barely good though. And then it spends from January the 7th through about the 15th, 1 full week of supporting that level. And then it starts to go down. Oftentimes from failed moves brings fast moves in the opposite direction. Where is this fast move going lower? It's not happening. Oh, interesting. Well, that means some of these other moving averages might be finding support here. But either way, we see on March the 2nd, it rallies above the 18 to, again, this big resistance level. 2 days of going sideways at the 18 highs, and now back to that point again. If this thing doesn't scream out that it wants to have a significant move to the upside, which I would think is a no-brainer for next resistance to be at between 37 area up to 40, 36 to 40,000. Well, we'll see. And I just say that's the next level, but a beautiful pattern. I just have to show it, which is why I did. Let's go on to trust. Do you trust this coin? I mean, I love this formation for the way I trade. I really, really do. Do I own it? Yes, I do. Now, do I trust that this is going to be great? No. Do I trust my system that I use to trade works? Oh yeah, I trust that. So that's exactly what I'm doing within this. But the price action on February 21st and February 22nd completes its leg lower from last support of 1390, and it's supported this time around 1100. Several days staying at 12, and then after this beautiful up day, 2 days of consolidating, and now it's doing the same sort of thing again. We look at this on a short-term time frame, 400-minute. Well, it's just started to break it. Is it overextended? Yes and no. Yes, because it is 3 consecutive green candles of decent sizes that has left the 18 average, and it's well above it. So there's some of your yes. No, because of how this crypto space is in combining with the fact that it has only just barely broken this level of resistance, that this thing really wouldn't get overexposed on this time frame until it gets anywhere up to 17,000. And even then, when these things can go off, they can oftentimes go off having 50, 100, 200% days with some of these coins you've barely heard of, or ones you have heard of but you know from your research that they can have those moves. Well, you're not really overly shocked that they occur. And then you got coins like POT, just grinding its way lower like it did all the way through here. And look at these lines in here. What does that tell you? Have your sell orders ready. If you buy now, I have nothing against it. It can easily go lower though. 1567. Yeah, put a small one in, maybe around 2 grand if you want. If you want to play for the big gains, you got areas up around 3750. Maybe put one in around 5,000, maybe put one around 7,000, maybe put one in around 9,000, 25,000 or a $500,000 as well. Don't expect that $500,000 or even the 25,000 to hit. But I wouldn't be overly shocked if it did something like go to these extreme moves like that. After all, you got the beautiful up and down moves where just back in here, you go from 1100 up to 55, down to 27, up to 55, down to 27, up to 55, down to 27. up to 8,000 almost, and so on and so forth. Lots of great opportunities. It's been in a grinding downtrend, and it will stay that way until it's not, obviously. But the overall thing that I talk about is the bears have their turn, the bulls have their turn. Right now, the bears have been in control for quite some time. And let's move on to the next one. You got codes like NEM, and I bought at the 5 number. I then bought again somewhere over 3,000. So I'm not going to buy now again, but I guess I got to be ready for more buying because this thing has just been in a major downtrend, going from the 13,500 to 3,000, 4x loss. But what has this thing always done? Big moves up, big move down, big move up, move down, move up, move down. What's the next play? Yeah, it's going to be a move up. I don't know when, I don't know how large or from where at, but I do realize it'll happen. And because this is getting long, I mean, I could do 20 more minutes if I really wanted to. So then, if you are watching this, let me know. You know, I really would have liked another 20 minutes because, well, I don't care about the reason why. Just tell me. And if I get enough people saying, yeah, and if I have a situation like this again, maybe I'll put out a 40-minute video or just intentionally do 40-minute videos of a whole bunch of these codes when I feel up to it. But within core, this price action has had a decent size moves up and down like I talk about, but it only took like a quick period of time to leave this 18 average at around the 30,000 handle up to about 90,000, almost a triple X gain. And it's been 2 decent red candles down, losing half of its value while it's meeting up within the 18 average of highs. Okay, this is big. I mean, I know the either or situation, if else, basically. If this code is real and great gains are going to happen, then it is not a big surprise to come down and have a correctionary move. The first place you're looking at is the 18 of highs where it's at now. Then you're looking at the 18 average of lows and major key levels of what usually would be previous resistance. When I look at that, I'm seeing just the 38-ish handle because that was congestion here. It was support here. The 28 is big, but yes, you really want to make a higher low on it. So yes, I really have to. If this can hold the 36, 38, start to make the momentum move higher, then this thing should be poised to have a retest of this previous high in at around the 150,000 Satoshi mark. Flip-flop, else, polarizing. What's the opposite of really high, really low? And that would be the case here because the more times you test support, the more likely it is that you break it. And the failed move, fast move, if it has a move this fast and is unable to sustain anything, and over the month of March, as we move on, price action is very weak, not showing strength within the 18 average and eventually falling below, that I'd be looking for a break of this key 30,000 level and probably test somewhere between we'd have to think 7,500 Satoshi to about 12,700. So 7,500 to 12,500-ish. If, of course, this is a failed breakout. But for now, I don't want to guess if it's going to be a failed breakout or if it's a real breakout. Again, I don't guess how the mathematics of buying low, selling high works. Because I sold a couple occasions up here. 2 times I sold. I'm very close to buying the next one back. Very close, but not quite yet. Alrighty then. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a magnificent day. Bye-bye.